So, as I'm sure you all know by now, WWE have released Big Cass less than 48 hours after his Money in the Bank match against Daniel Bryan. That was a bit of a shock. Their statement, which is absolutely mammoth, reads, WWE has come to terms on the release of William Morrissey, brackets, Big Cass. That's it. That's actually it. He doesn't even get feature Endeavours, which for me is dripping in implication. After a grueling 8 months out with injury, his return has then consisted of a spot in the Greatest Royal Rumble and a few really weird TV segments, and then 2 pay-per-view losses to the shortest guy almost on the roster. All this from a man who the very moment he arrived on the main roster was earmarked for a main event push in the very near future. Because, I mean, just look at him. If you asked Vince McMahon to draw what he thinks his own penis looks like, it would be that with lipstick around the middle. So what went wrong? Let us rewind to the 10th of December 2015. Myself and Jack the Jobber, formerly of this parish, are sat in the Metro Radio Arena in Newcastle for the first night of NXT's UK TakeOver Tour. First out is Enzo and Cass, and the place goes f***ing nuts. It is honestly no overstatement to say that on a card that still featured Balor, Joe, Sami Zayn, Bayley and Asuka, Enzo and Cass were the most over by a mile that night. They were more over than Neville, who was born 5 miles from the arena. Fast forward to next year and their main roster debut, which was, I am told, by those in attendance, the absolute highlight of the Raw after WrestleMania 33. They arrived on a tidal wave of fan support with the whole gifted gab, gifted jab or whatever it was. They had the company behind them, the world at their feet. It was perfect. Now, think about it. A few nights before, when they just fell short of the NXT tag titles at Roadblock to the Revival, who would have looked at that picture of them all waving the crowd away, about to go on to bigger things, and thought, do you know who'll do the best out of that lot on the main roster? Carmella. You see, for Enzo and Cass, things started to go wrong very, very quickly. Their entrance shtick, which was one of the best things about NXT when it was getting used sparingly, all of a sudden was getting trotted out every Monday and Tuesday and got real old real fast. Then the matches started to come in, and shock and awe, they all of a sudden didn't look as good when put with the Ascension and Shining Stars as they did with the Revival and American Alpha. Enzo repeatedly injuring himself in the ring didn't help either. So with them underwhelming in the ring and their support in the crowd starting to wane, WWE got really, really itchy feet about giving a nice big push to the nice big lad in that tag team. But their breakup feud was just... ugh. Now look, it's obviously not either Enzo or Cass's fault how badly that storyline was written, but I mean, let's just recap. Enzo was mysteriously attacked by somebody, which then later turned out to have been Cass. He decided he just wasn't bothered for some reason, and then Cass beat him up again. That was the entire angle. And what was the big grand payoff match they were going to have at the end of this that was going to launch Cass off on his singles run? It was against the Big Show at SummerSlam, with Enzo Amore above the ring greasing himself up in a shark tank. That actually happened. The next night on Raw, he crocked himself in a street fight with Enzo. I don't remember how exactly. I've suppressed that memory, and he was faced with 8 months off television. Absence did not make the heart grow fonder, though. His return was so underwhelming. But the problem for Cass was not the injury in itself. The problem was that in the time he was away, Braun Strowman happened and completely redefined what it means to be a big man in WWE. He's been so effectively booked and so entertainingly used that it's no longer enough to simply have the size. You have to have a lot more to you in the process. The goalposts have basically moved now, when they've moved too far for Colin Cassidy. Now, look, with the exception of his underwhelming promos, none of these problems, none of his in-ring issues are his fault. They're a product of how badly he's been used. But when you take all of those and you combine them with these persistent, never-going-away reports of backstage problems, it's all just one big mess. Reports have stated that his aggressively pro-Trump political stance has made him none too popular in the locker room, and he did, allegedly, let's just say, maybe overindulge slightly on the European tour. And yes, just like that, Vince McMahon has sat him down and gave him the old Kirk Van Houten, I don't recall saying good luck speech. Just like that, gone, out of here. One of the most surprising releases from WWE since... Christ, I don't even know. WWE don't even release people anymore. They like hoarding talent that much. They don't ever just let people go. Emma, I guess? Jim Johnson? Too long didn't read? Fair enough, I have gone on a bit. A huge arrival from NXT in every possible sense of the word. He was booked into positions that exposed him both in the ring and on the mic. Then he was laid up with an unfortunate injury, all the while another superstar renders his character redundant, before in the end it was decided he simply wasn't important enough to get away with his alleged conduct or attitude. And that is the tea. But, and I don't want to turn this into a sob story, but we shouldn't forget that in the last few months, this man has seen his long-term friendship with Enzo Amore, as well as his long-term relationship with Carmella, disintegrate right in front of him. This, combined with leaving the company, can't have him in a particularly good place at the minute, and I just hope whatever he does, wherever he goes, it's a good move for him. There you have it though, Colin Big Ass Cassidy. What went wrong? Well, sadly, quite a lot. Thank you very much for watching. There is the subscribe button. It's 7 foot tall and you can click that. Leave us a comment below and let us know what you make of all this. We're learning new things every day by the looks of it. Until next time though, my name has been Adam Cleary. I'll see you soon.